Hi there! In this video I am going to show you how you can use Bookingmood. When you log in to Bookingmood, you will see this dashboard. I have added one unit, Villa Deluxe, and as you can see there are no bookings here. If you add more units, they will be displayed below each other here, and you can see the bookings from the past by going back in the time and in the future by going to the future. You will see this red line here, which means this is today. You can add bookings simply by clicking on the calendar and then drag the mouse to the right to another date and then release the mouse. When you do this, you can add a title for the booking, and you can also add some more options, like you can choose between a booking, a blocked period, which is handy if your unit is closed for maintenance, for example, or you can just add a note which doesn't block the calendar. You can also choose between confirmed or pending, and here you can see the dates again, and you can also add more details. You can choose the number of guests, you can add a contact or select an existing one. Because this is a new account, there are no contacts yet, so I can add one here by clicking on plus contact. And also you can see the rent. I am using the default pricing of $100 per night, so as you can see it's 14 times $100. When I confirm the booking, a sidebar will open on the right. And here you can see the contacts and the non-invoiced items. You can generate an invoice to make this the invoiced items. And on the left you will see the unit, the dates, the guests, and all other details of the booking. You can also add a description for internal use. You can also add tasks. Tasks are for your staff, like cleaners, or for yourself to be reminded of something that you have to do. 24 hours before a task is due, you will get an email or SMS reminder. You can also add some more details to the booking, and also add attachments to the booking, which the guest can also see on his or her guest page. You will also see the timeline of the booking here. As you can see, today the booking is registered. You can also notify the guests, or you can send messages. Because this contact has no email yet, this booking has no contact yet, so also no email or phone number. So you can also only add a private note now. Let's see. When we go back to the timeline, you will see the booking is now added to the timeline. This is how it works when you want to add a manual booking. But you can also embed a booking form on your own website to let your guests make bookings themselves. To do this, we need to do a bit of setup up front. So when you click on the unit, you will see some options on the left in this menu. First, the monthly calendar opens. So here you will see all the bookings. You can also scroll to the next month, etc. You can also choose for a yearly view, and this will display the whole year. You can also set some options here. You go back to the monthly view. You can also see the bookings in a table. So here are all the bookings displayed below each other. There is one booking now. As you can see, it's a confirmed one, and the total price is not invoiced yet, so nothing is due or paid. You can also change the view of this page. As you can see, you can change the status. For example, if you only want to see pending bookings, you will see only the pending bookings. You can also select the bookings where the payments are due, or the non-invoiced bookings. So this you can customize views. For example, payments due. There is no booking with a payment due, but I can save it here, like bookings with payments due. So now I've created a view with bookings with payment due. There are none, so I'm going back and I'm going to also create a view with the status confirmed. And I can also save this view, save changes to a new view, and then I can let it name it confirmed bookings. So I now have two views. As you can see, you can create views, as many views as you want. Then we go to the Synchronization tab. Here you can import or export iCal feeds. For example, if this unit is also on Airbnb or Booking, you can import the iCal feed from Airbnb and Booking and import it here in Bookingmood. So when someone makes a booking via Airbnb, it would also be blocked and visible in your calendar. Otherwise, you can also export your bookings from Bookingmood to these other platforms so that they are always in sync. Now, for the rent part, you can add prices in 3 different ways. You can use the standard pricing, which should be enough for many. So by default, it's this price, but you can also change it to whatever you want. You can choose between the price per night, per guest per night, or per week, or per guest. So you can have a lot of options with the pricing here. It's not a flat price. You can also create different seasons. For example, it's $100 per guest per night, but I can also split the price per season. For example, if I have a high season, I can add it here, like high season each year from June 1 till September 1, for example. It's high season, so then it's $200 per guest per night. And I click on segment, and then I use the default season, which I can also change from January 1 to, let's see, May 31, and from September 1 till December 31. So I can also name this low season. And then I can say it's $100 per guest per night. So now I have two pricings. So one for the high season and one for the low season. You can also say it's $200 per guest per night, but I want to add a variant, like it's $1,000 per guest per week. So now in the high season, it's $200 per guest per night, but if it's a full week, it will go to $1,000 per guest per week. Bookingmood always picks the lowest pricing to present to the guest. So when you have overlap in pricing, it will always pick the lowest one, so you don't have to worry about that. You can also split on other attributes as well, other options. So for example, if the booking duration is 0 to 7 nights, is this price, but when it's 8 till 14 nights, for example, you can say it's cheaper. So it gets something like this, for example. So with this pricing table, you can add a lot of varieties and add a lot of options to your pricing. You can also add taxes here, which can be included in the price or be calculated on top of the price. You can also use an installment, like if you have different payment moments. For example, 0 days after confirmation, there is a payment moment. But you can also say 40 days before arrival. Another payment moment is applied. So for example, you can say at the confirmation you will need to pay 50% and the other 50% must be paid 14 days before arrival. So as you can see here, this is the total pricing and the payment moments are listed here. You can also add discounts, for example, stay booking. Then you can add a restriction like if the booking duration is 14 days or longer, you can have a minus 10% on the booking. So this is how you add discounts as well. You can also add a deposit. So you can say it's $500 per booking, and the deposit has to be paid, for example, at confirmation. And you can also add a refund policy. So one day after departure, you can transfer the money back to the guest. This is one way to add the pricing via the standard way. We also have a price calendar. When you click on this button here, you will see a new menu item opens on the left. As you can see, the pricing is removed now from this page because the price can now be managed on the price calendar. Click on the price calendar. Now you see the configurations, they are all yellow. This means there is now one price. In the example before, I created a low season and a high season. So we could do that again. We could name this, for example, the low season. And then we can also add a configuration which is called high season, for example. Here's another color. Okay, so now the whole year is a low season. I can make the rest of the high season being applied to the calendar by selecting the dates and releasing the mouse, and I can select high season. As you can see now, we have a low season and a high season. The low season is yellow and the high season is some sort of amber. So when I click on the low season configuration, I can see some things here: the name, the color, and also some options like the check-in. Is it allowed on all days of the week? Yes or no? Now, in this case, it's allowed on all days of the week. I can simply say check-in is only allowed on a Saturday, and the check-out is also only allowed on a Saturday. I can set the nights in advance. So I can say this can be booked in the low season between 5 to a year in advance, and the bookings can be 1 till 30 days long, nights long. I can also add the rates here. This unit has a maximum of 2 guests, and I can say it's $100 per guest in the low season, but I can also say the first night is $100 and all the nights after are $90, for example. So this way you can also play with the rates here. You can also say 1 guest is $100 per night, 2 guests is $190 per night. So you can add your pricing here as well. You can save it, and then you can also do this for the high season. You can make this a higher price, for example. So this way you can create seasons, and note that this is only for nightly pricing because we add the rate per night here. So if you have a fixed price per week, you can better use the other way to add prices. But this is a very quick way to add prices when you have just nightly pricing. So when we go back to rent, you will see this price calendar activates this button here. You can also see the Price Labs button, which Price Labs is a software to manage pricing, and also with Price Labs you're able to set up dynamic pricing. So you can link your Price Labs account with Bookingmood, and then in Price Labs, all the pricing is handled, and Bookingmood looks at that pricing and applies it to your calendar automatically. So this part is regarding the pricing. Then we have the booking form. By default, the contact details are added here. You can also disable the fields, and you can also edit the fields by clicking on them. And you can also add custom fields. So with this button here, you can add some fields here, like a single line text, multi-line text, a number field, time field, checkbox, multiple choice, or just a fee and description. For example, a checkbox field, if you want to offer a breakfast, for example, which is optional, you can say breakfast. It's not required because it's optional. And then you can also add a fee to it. Like a breakfast is $50 per guest per night. You can also add some other options to this pricing as well, just like the pricing that we I just showed you. And also you can add the payment moments for this as well, discounts, deposits, etc. So now the booking form, when the guest makes a booking, will show a checkbox with breakfast, and if the guest checks this checkbox, $15 per night per guest will be added to the total price. You can also have a fixed price, which the guest cannot check or uncheck, which is the fee description. So for example, tourist tax, I can say it's $1 per guest per night, for example. So this is a field the guest can't uncheck. You can also add other fields, like if you offer several packages, you can add a multiple choice field. You can say package, for example, and add options to it, like a gold package. I'm just thinking of something. Silver package. You can add prices to this as well. So the gold package might be $100 per booking, and the silver package might be $50 per booking. So as you can see here in the booking form, you can ask the guests for some input, like maybe the guest also has some comments. You can also drag the field to here, and you can also add pricing options or upsells or whatever. So then we go to the message schedule. You can send messages. So when someone did a booking request, or when a payment is received, or when a direct booking is received, you can automatically email the guest. You can also add messages. You can select between different triggers. So for every action in Bookingmood, you can send the guest an email. You can also add a scheduled email, which is totally plannable by yourself. For example, if you want to tell the guest something about things to do in the neighborhood, you can send them an email like 7 days before arrival. You can send the guest a message about some tips or tricks or whatever. So you can also schedule your own emails here. You can also ask for a review, for example, 3 days after departure. You can say, hey, do you want to give us a review? And then add the button to the guest page, which is here, because after each booking, the guest page for the guest turns into a review page where I can leave a review. So this way you can set up emails. You can also unlink them from the unit or add them to other units. Then we have the task template. You can add tasks, for example, clean the unit. For confirmed bookings, every time after departure, 0 days after departure, the unit must be cleaned. You can also assign teammates. You can add a cleaner to the Bookingmood organization and assign them to the task. So now for every booking, this person will be assigned to clean the unit, and the person will get an email 24 hours before the task is due. So when he logs into Bookingmood, he can see the task which he has to do. Then we can set up the appearance. You can add images, you can add descriptions, you can add the address of the unit, and also you can add attributes. Attributes is, for example, when you have multiple units and you want to have a search widget which you can filter based on some attributes. You can, for example, say the number of bedrooms here, and you can say this unit has 2 bedrooms. You can also add another option like 1. So when you add another unit, you can select the number of bedrooms. For this unit, it's 2. You can also say free parking, for example. You can add other options like yes and no. No. This is yes. So now when you create a search widget, you will see 2 filters, the number of bedrooms and free parking, yes or no. So if that's something that is important for guests, they can select it in the filter, and only the units will be shown which the filters apply to. Then we have some general settings. You can select if you want to accept instant bookings. This means that a guest can book your unit, and when the unit is booked, it's automatically confirmed after a successful payment. This is a direct booking. You can also choose to do booking requests. So now, if you want to do instant bookings, you can say, okay, I want to do instant bookings on available dates. If you select never, it will automatically be turned into booking requests, which means when a guest does a booking, you receive, as the owner, a booking request, which you can confirm or cancel. So you're always in control. The initial status of a booking request can be confirmed or pending, but most people use pending. So this is a way to have some more control about who is coming to your unit. So yeah, you can choose between instant bookings or booking requests. You can also add a capacity, like the number of guests that can be in your unit. You can select the time zone, the rent period per night or per day. Rental units are mostly rented per night, but units like boats or camper vans are usually rented per day. Then you can set the latest booking time and how many nights should be blocked after each booking. For example, if you need 1 night to clean the house, you can set it to 1. So there will always be 1 day in between the in-between bookings, and the currency can be selected here. And you can also combine multiple pricing lines into 1 fee if you want a smaller pricing overview when a guest makes a booking. And you can also set permissions, but we have no members with the user role yet. So now this unit can be booked, and we can create a channel for it, a widget, to be added to your website. When you click on channels, you can choose between different widgets. A calendar widget, which shows months, a timeline widget, which shows the timeline, like the dashboard, an inventory widget, which is handy if you have multiple units of the same type. For example, hotels, if they have 5 of the same rooms, you can use the inventory widget to show how many room types are still available of the same sort. And we have the search widget, which can be used to let the guest search for available date, like the arrival, departure, and the number of guests, and then the search widget displays all the available units. But if you have just 1 unit, it doesn't make a lot of sense, maybe. You can also create websites with Bookingmood, and you can apply for Google Vacation Rentals. You can add a review widget, which shows the reviews of your unit, and a pricing widget, which only shows the pricing of your widget. The most used widget is most likely the calendar widget. So when we say, name it Villa Deluxe and click on confirm, we can select the unit Villa Deluxe, and now the widget preview shows here. The interaction, I can say if it's bookable or not. When you click on none, it just behaves like an availability calendar. If I select book, people can actually click on the dates to make a booking. After booking, we can decide to show the confirmation message or redirect to your own website, or we can show the guest page. On failed payment, we can also do the same thing, but let's show the guest page here. We can hide the past availability. We can show all dates or hide the close dates, etc. So we can select a lot of options here. You can apply your own colors to the calendar, so to make it blend into your own website with your own branding colors, for example. Well, when you have set this all up, you're able to embed it on your website. So you can click on the embed button here, and you can select one of these embed options. We also have guides available. So for almost every website builder, we have a guide. So how to embed it on, for example, Wix or Squarespace, etc. So this is how the widget works. And let's see what I can tell you else. When you click on the More button, you will see some more menu options. And you can also translate Bookingmood into your own language. You can select the original language, which is English in my case, but if I click on here, I can, for example, translate it to Dutch, which is Netherlands in Dutch. I can also use the auto translate button here. When I click this, it will all be automatically translated with the use of AI. So that's also quite handy. Also, for example, the booking fields that I've added can also be translated. Like tourist tax is toeristenbelasting in Dutch. So in this way I can use Bookingmood for multiple languages. When we go back to the widget, you can also see that we can also show the widget in any other language. Like if I will show it in Dutch, it will show like this. We can also display it in our currencies. So when I want to display it in euros, it's converted to euros. So we use dynamic currencies. Okay, so you can now embed the widget on your own website, and you can start collecting bookings. So this is how Bookingmood works. Let's see if the widget, yes, it's now, the pricing is now correct. And as you can remember, I've only used the seller days as check-in and check-out dates. So as you can see here, the guest can only select Saturdays to check in and also only select Saturdays to check out. And as you can see, the booking form shows below, and here is the breakfast option. And if you can see, when I check the breakfast option, it's also added to the pricing overview, and also the packages are working. So this is how Bookingmood works. I hope this video makes it a bit more clear. And when you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact us. Thanks for watching.